Okay, so maybe it's not that bad, but I am bumming. And I do feel like I'm stuck in an Animal Crossing hangover from the news. And buckle up, because there are new developments. And we gotta talk about if Nintendo made a big mistake with Animal Crossing. Plus, there's some new rumblings on Brewster, and the community's reaction is kind of confusing. Feels like, you know, when you would go to summer camp when you were little, and then you get home and you just be bumming. You just be like, that was so great. That was so awesome. And now what? You know that sensation, you know what I'm talking about? That feeling deep inside? Let me know in the comments if you know what I mean, and hit that like button if you agree, because I was so high on the last Animal Crossing update. It was so fun to get new items and to see the surprise of Halloween features being added early, drinking my boba, eating my cotton candy, the new animations, the firework festival, the return of a great scene in the sky, and it just felt so good to be all AC Palooza again, right? It just felt so nice to be going crazy for the game that we love, and I missed that feeling. I thought it was so happy, and I was so pumped, even though I had gauze in my mouth and my wisdom teeth were hurting, or they weren't hurting because they were ripped out. But anyways, like, it was so short-lived. Do you feel the same? Like, it was really hype for a moment, and just a moment. But we do have a lot to talk about today, a lot of interesting updates and things going on in the world of AC that I want to fill you in and hear your takes. So let's get rolling right into it. I hope you're all doing well. It's just been weird. Like, the community felt like it was ready to go again. Like, we were there, we were pumped, we were pleased. Nintendo talked to us, they let us know there was some new stuff, there were new items, there was boba, and everything is better with boba, as I'm sure you know. It just fills the soul and fills the heart and also fills the tummy, and those are all good things. So now, not knowing and not just, it might be 90 days, it might be 70, it might be 100, we don't know. But let's talk about the news. The first thing I want to talk to you about that happened is that Target restocked the Sanrio cards. So if you're somebody that has been searching, hoping, waiting, or you just now want Sanrio, apparently as of this week, they are back in Target stores in the United States. There's supposedly one per person, which is frankly how it always should have been. They wouldn't have been such a big fiasco if they would have just maintained some sort of uniformity and some sort of rule set. Like, okay, they're on the shelves, get to the store, one per person. Instead, it was in-store, it was online, it was free-for-all, it was one. Now it seems like things are a bit better. So if you've been waiting, or you have like a little cousin that's been waiting, or a best friend that's been waiting, now's a great time. It makes a super sweet gift because it's 6 awesome villagers. They're also fun to add to the game. And it's like the perfect pick-me-up present for anybody. So I saw a lot of people saying all over the country they were finding them. So hopefully if you're looking or have been looking, you can as well. Now we also have this new Animal Crossing manga that is now available to buy on Amazon. It doesn't release until September 14th, but you can pre-order it now. I'm not sure if this is going to sell out. Obviously, we've seen Animal Crossing Monopoly sell out. We've seen Animal Crossing like figures and plushies sell out. This might as well. It's #1 bestseller right now on Amazon in manga, and it looks to be pretty darn cute. It says, join your favorite characters from Animal Crossing for all new adventures in this official manga, and it is New Horizons based. Read the gag-filled adventures of 4 goofy residents living among the Animal Crossing New Horizons characters. Includes a bonus animal guide with game tips, which is kind of neat. Let me know if any of you want to pick this up in the comments. I see Wisp, we've got Marshall, Timmy and Tommy, obviously, Gulliver in the background, and then villagers. It's a pretty cool art style. Like, it's not exactly the New Horizons art style. It's a little bit embellished, I'd say. Their expressions probably are a little bit bigger. There also is this picture that I found of the back of the book. This shows Nook, Blathers, Raymond, Gulliver, Wisp, and Dom. I assume they're the main characters, and the subtitle is Deserted Island Diary, which is kind of like a fun thing to see what these characters get up to and what Viz and Nintendo have created for them, what universe. I could see this being very popular, especially if it taps into some of the things that make New Horizons New Horizons. I mean, they should have an entire chapter about, hey, there's no updates, you have to wait, and Brewster never comes, although more on Brewster in a little bit. I also want to talk to you guys about something interesting, and this to me was pretty eye-opening, and I think it shows why Nintendo and how and where Nintendo made like a big mistake. Okay, today Nintendo's sales figures came out, and they showed us that Animal Crossing New Horizons has reached almost 34 million copies sold. 34 million ACers out there, which is phenomenal. That's crazy numbers in a little over a year and change. But look at this. I found this remarkable. So first off, Animal Crossing New Horizons has now sold more than the entire franchise, like every other game combined. You add up original Animal Crossing, City Folk, Wild World, and New Leaf, they don't total New Horizons now. New Horizons is like a beast of its own. It's the King Kong of AC games, and we knew that, but it just continues to grow. But that's not really the fascinating part. That's a little bit obvious. The mystery lies in these images. This is Animal Crossing New Horizons sales, and yes, it's compared to New Leaf, but that's not what I want you to focus on. Look at the line, the orange line. That shows Animal Crossing New Horizons sales from launch to now. Look at how it went. It was a super steep curve, which means that, hey, it was selling a ton. And then after the first 6 months, because each of these numbers at the bottom are quarters, so it's, those are 3-month chunks. After the first 6 months, it slowed down a bit. But look where it really, really almost flatlined. And if you look, it's right between quarters 3 and 4, which lines up almost exactly with when they stopped delivering regular updates and when they stopped doing Animal Crossing trailers. It's right at that time period. And yes, there's some factor because the holiday shopping season was over, so it would come down. But it hasn't really recovered. There hasn't been a new uptick. It's kind of just stayed at this baseline level. It's still selling, but it's so much more of a flat line as opposed to the steep initial and then the long stretch of a pretty healthy curve. Now it's just kind of going along, and it's right when we got our last trailer, right around Festival. After that, there was the Mario trailer, but the regular updates and the content that we came to expect of NPCs and features really stopped, and this next chart shows it even better. Look at these sales. Boom in Q1, boom in Q2, pretty good in Q3, back boom in Q4 for the holidays, and then whoop. Now that's to be expected, right? Any game's gonna dip off, but it didn't recover. In fact, it dipped further. Now I'm not saying Animal Crossing should go and sell more and more and more and more. That's just not reasonable. But to me, there is a correlation. Like, they stopped updating. That meant word of mouth kind of stopped because that meant you and I weren't talking about it as much. That meant you weren't playing it as much. That meant you weren't sharing it with your friends as much. That meant people couldn't see you playing and get excited. It wasn't being posted on social media. Everything has kind of slowed down, and sales have slowed down. I wonder if these graphs would be different had Nintendo been able to maintain regular update cadence. If they had put out substantial updates like, the ones with Red or the ones with Pascal every few months as we initially thought they would we be seeing a different graph and different charts that would be going back up, or at least maintaining a better pace, because this is a pretty huge dip. Now, all accounts, Animal Crossing New Horizons is insanely successful, and even if it never sold another copy, it would be heroic. Like I said, it sold more this game than the rest of the franchise combined. But it is something to think about. The updates clearly do, in my opinion, play at least some of a role in this sales drop-off, and I wonder if they're going to be able to kind of get the gang back together when they bring out new stuff. Now, we are waiting for another update coming, probably early fall, right? Summer is kind of rolling past the months just fly by. But I want to talk to you about something else that I saw on the internet this week, and it's this tweet right here. Brewster is what we're all talking about, right? It was Datamine. It's, in my opinion, almost a guarantee that he arrives next. This tweet kind of picked up a lot of steam, and it's from Keenan. It's going to be so funny when Brewster is finally added to ACNH, because I already know the whole Animal Crossing community will obsess over him for 2 full weeks, then never mention him again. Now, I saw a lot of people, obviously, agreeing with this, echoing the sentiments, got a lot of likes, a lot of retweets. I'm going to disagree. 2 full weeks, yeah, that's kind of what the boba gave us, not even, right? We're like 5 days out, and I'm like, okay, we're a little bit done. The items, they were fun for the weekend, and what next? But when it comes to Brewster, that's a full darn feature, okay? And I think the world of Animal Crossing has spoken. Brewster might not be your favorite character, and you might think the cafe could be a little bit lame, but I'm telling you, the cafe is going to bring a lot of coolness to this game, all right? It is going to bring just new things to do on a regular basis. And the other thing to mention is we don't know exactly how big the cafe is yet. We don't know how many features it brings in. We don't know if it brings in a job system, if it brings in other villagers, if they can enter and exit, if there's more beverages, if the beverages have effects, if it's going to incorporate boba and tea, if it's going to incorporate hot cocoa and coffee. We don't know fully what all it will entail, but I do want to show you this because Brewster is being talked about everywhere. Ever since that Datamine, Brewster has just been on the mind of all Animal Crossing writers and articles. We got this headline from GameSpot: Animal Crossing New Horizons players are desperate for coffee. I like that one because we kind of are, and man, I'm sleepy too. International Business Times said Animal Crossing New Horizons leak reveals most requested feature could arrive soon. And yes, they're talking about Brewster. Now, I could replicate that and show you a dozen articles saying like, hey, the cafe might finally be coming. Brewster might finally be coming. This clearly is one of the most requested features in the entire game. And in the lifespan of Animal Crossing New Horizons, it's something that players have wanted as a whole for a while now. So I don't believe that Brewster is a 2-week addition. I think maybe the hoopla is 2 weeks, but the after effects will last for a while. Brewster will become a regular part of your routine by all accounts, and that is a big deal. That's something that we haven't seen added for plenty of updates. Design slots, I don't think that really counts. And then items, yeah, they're fun for a bit, but that's not really modifying your routine. Brewster is a chance to dramatically change the way you play the game because they'll add a new place for you to go, new interactions, and possibly new ways to relate with your villagers and new things to do on the island. It's something that we've hungered for so long. So belittling Brewster and trying to shrink his role, like he's not the save-all that's going to make this game from great to insane. And it's not the thing that's going to make Animal Crossing just fun to play forevermore. But it is a good update, and it is a good chunk of content. By all means, it's so much more so than a couple of items or some design slots, or even a quality of life update. This is new content, and it's injecting new NPCs and new routine things for you to accomplish and do, and like that is what this game needs. So I think yes, like on the surface, Brewster, like, oh, it's just one character, it's not going to save Animal Crossing. We could go on and on about does Animal Crossing even need to be saved, but I do think that Brewster will have a substantial impact, and I think building that cafe and getting that ready and designing around it, incorporating it, and using it in sort of your days and your weeks and your villager habits and patterns, I think that's going to be a big deal, and I am really excited for it. Plus, you can almost guarantee that Nintendo will include more than just Brewster. Anytime they've made a substantial update that includes an NPC, there's typically a hefty list of things surrounding it. And we know there'll be new items, and we know there'll be new events, and there'll probably be holiday refreshes as well. But don't be surprised if they use the opportunity to incorporate more than just Brewster in the cafe. I think what I'm trying to say is the next update is bound to be awesome. And I don't think we should diminish it because it's really what we've been waiting for. And even if Brewster isn't your boy and not the bird that you've been secretly crossing your fingers for months now, it's the kind of content that Animal Crossing needs. And I don't think that's the end. We're not saying like Brewster and then you're good. We're saying, okay, bring Brewster. And then do you have Cap'n? And then how are you going to modify multiplayer? What do you got planned? And I think Brewster is a sign that Nintendo can put together more substantial updates again, that they can bring more content. And that's what we all want. We want to get the gang back together and have the gang stay together. Not like 1.11 where you're just kind of tired of it after a few days. That's how I feel, right? It just sort of feels like, I'm just waiting now for the next thing. It was fun while it lasted. Let me know if you agree, how you feel, and what you think about today's news in the comments down below. I love you guys so much. I hope you're all doing well out there. I miss you. It was 4 days. It felt like 40. I love you guys a lot. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay smart, and stay positive out there. Until next time, everybody, my best friends, my AC community, SwitchForce, out.